Kira Stein, vocal coach, vocal performance coach, singer extraordinaire, flute player extraordinaire, guitar player extraordinaire, entertainer, if you will. Honored to have you here. Honored to have you as a part of what we do in Music Money Mastery. So happy you came to the retreat. Introduce yourself. I kind of just did that a little bit. Introduce yourself and what you do.
Yeah, no, I got nothing left to say. Hey everyone, I'm Kira. I am a singer, performer, and vocal coach, and it has been my joy to be part of Music Money Mastery these past, just over a month now.
Is that
I
right?
think. Yeah, just over a month, and really get to work with how I can, what you do, serve and support people better.
Heck yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's great. So what I'd love to know too is like before we started working together, and even maybe before you came across me and what I do, where was your business at before that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this past year leading up to us starting to work together, I had been in actually two mastermind programs, one which helped me to really build out my business from the bottom up, from going from hourly lessons to having a course, having a program and a clear offer. And the second one really gave me some more structures to work around things, whether I'm hiring people or how I'm spending my time, having co-working sessions, like just figuring out different things that worked for me in my business. And so when I came to you, I was at a point where I had the foundation built and I had something that I really want to get out there. And that I know can be successful. And I knew that I needed to make small changes and have somebody really go through it with me together, like diagnose my business. I think we said this in our consultation. I was like, I want to diagnose my business and be able to know things thoroughly enough through every part of every system that I can make small changes and see results. And a big one of those is having clients come in and having exposure, knowing that I'm reaching the right people. And part of that really involved the changes that ultimately we were going to need to make together.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And what do you feel like has been some things that you have felt have been like a challenge for you? Obviously, again, before us starting to work together.
Before us starting to
Yeah.
work together? I think a big challenge for me before us starting to work together was really knowing where to put my energy. I had my time laid out. I knew how much time I could put into my business. I knew what I wanted my energy to look like. But knowing which thing to focus on and which thing to prioritize was really difficult. And so whether it was just needing validation or needing guidance, I felt like I needed somebody to say, this is the evidence for why it's worth your time to prioritize this area or this area of your business.
That is really hard to do by yourself. That's so hard. I have a challenge with that too. That's why like having mentors and that outside perspective, it can help a lot. Okay. And so when we did get connected, what was it that made you feel like, okay, you trusted me enough to feel like you would want to hire me and like made you pull the trigger?
Yeah. Part of it was my friends who introduced me to you. They had come from one of the programs that I was in as well, the one that helped me build my whole course. And so they had kind of the same foundation, although completely different outlooks and completely different needs. And I just had like a really long phone conversation with one of them going through like, these are the things that I'm doing well. These are the things I'm struggling with. And they were like, yeah, he can help you with that. And because I hadn't absorbed any of your social media content, anything other than your post booking, your pre-call video. That was the only content of yours that I had seen.
That's crazy. Okay. Good feedback.
Because I had only seen that, like, I knew what your process was going to be like, and I appreciated you explaining that through it. And I really just wanted the evidence of, is this going to be filling the need that I have now? Now that I already have a business and I'm in a completely different place than I was this time last year, is this somebody who can then help me take my business that exists to a higher level, to something that is functional and consistent?
You, I told you this, but like you're like the most thorough person I've ever met, and even the way you speak, I'm like so thorough. I love it. Like, I love that. Great. Okay, so I guess the pre-call video was pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, I think
So
so.
great.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good to
yeah.
know.
And now mine's modeled off of it.
There we go. Good. That's right. So for me, what's so important about like helping my clients, strategy, tactics, that's like 20% of it, right? The mindset is the 80% that really matters. So what I want to hear about, I know we've only been working together for quite a short amount of time, but what do you feel like has been so far the evolution and any sort of transformation that you've seen since we've started working together?
Oh man, I think this ties in with my biggest challenge as well, which I know you mentioned. And that is having to do the reframe around my ideal client. Yeah, which we've talked about a little bit this weekend. My ideal client is higher level than the picture of an ideal client, the avatar that I started with. Higher level in terms of more experience, what they're looking for, and really what kind of training they've had in the past.
Can you talk about that a little bit more? Like, what was your ideal client before, and then what have we talked about, and where you're going now?
Yeah. So my ideal client before we started together has been somebody who sings in the car, sings in the shower, and really just wants to sing better to the point where that they can start performing. And performing can be in a variety of different settings. And part of this is I wanted to validate all the different settings that somebody can perform in, whether it's in front of their family or in a community setting. And those are still absolutely valid. But my higher level client that I'm focusing on now is somebody who already is performing or who has performed in the past and wants to get back into it. And so there's a smaller piece that they have that's missing. And it's one that's more, what is it? The cut neck problem?
Bleeding neck.
Bleeding neck.
Cut neck. I love that.
I forget. The bleeding neck problem. It's something like the space between where they're at and where they're going. It's not necessarily smaller, but it's further along. And so instead of bridging them from somebody who likes to sing to somebody who wants to perform, it's bridging them from somebody who has either somebody who's either performed before and wants to perform again, or is already performing and needs to make some changes so that they can perform with confidence, they can perform with better technique, not vocal strain. Like, there's a lot of technical aspects of it, but again, so much of it is actually mindset as well for these performers.
Yeah. I really love that we're talking about this, because for me, this is one of the most interesting things about business is just niching down and thinking about like the exercise that we do in the program levels, right? Looking at level 0 through 10 of your ideal client. And it was just interesting because when you came to me, you're like, yeah, I've had some clients here and there. So now that we've started to work together and, you've started to elevate who your ideal client is, we're dialing in on, your schedule and how we're going to be able to execute better on those higher leverage tasks. We're in March now, right? 2026. What do your goals look like for the rest of this year?
Okay, separating my goals from tasks. Let me do that first. My goals would be, in a broad sense, having predictable, consistent income. And that'll come from, as we've talked about, having predictable amounts of clients coming in, which comes from all the systems that we're putting in place, which takes me down to the tasks that we're scheduling.
I love that. So those were the goals. And then you're saying the tasks are going to come down from that.
Yes.
Okay. I want to go one level deeper. What's that going to do for you?
Well, financially, it'll put me in the best position that I've been in my life so far. And I think it'll really be confirmation that I can do what I have set out to do. It'll be the culmination of a lot of work that I've done on myself and in a lot of endeavors even before my music business, because it'll be answering things I've wanted for as long as I can remember,
Mm.
which is to have freedom because I'm in control of my own outcomes.
Mm. Yeah. Freedom. That's good stuff. That's good. Thank you for sharing all that. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being in my program and for giving me the honor to like help you and serve and support you. It means a lot. It's an honor to do that. Money is a tool that is sometimes not hard to come by. So when you take that and invest it into something, like I know what that's like. So I appreciate you for that. What is something you would want to know from me? I know we've been talking nonstop all weekend, and we talked quite a bit on Slack and our one-on-one calls. But what is something else? Like, what is a question that you would want to ask me?
Yeah, absolutely. Being around this incredible group of people, I think one thing that I'd love to hear your answer to is when we spend time with people, whether it's online or in person, I think we have to be intentional about what we take away from them and what we apply in our own lives. So, my question for you would be, with this fantastic group of creatives, many of whom you get to work with in a variety of different ways, what is something that you are being intentional about taking away and applying in your own life?
Mm. Okay, so and you want to know specifically just from the group from this weekend?
However, you want to answer.
Okay, 'cause I think I can answer it based on just like all my clients.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you're a coach and you're not learning from your clients, like somewhere along the way you're fucking up. Like I learned from all my clients. I learned something from everybody. And it like to me it's very easy to do that, right? Like even literally from you, like right before the interviews, like you were talking to Bradley about these statements and affirmations you say to yourself, and I'm sitting there like I was trying to interrupt you guys to tell you about these interviews, but then like you're putting him on game, and I was like, okay, hold on, what's she saying? And then you're saying these just amazing things. So everybody has something, right? So, um, it's funny because it's like I could literally rant on this for an hour because every one of you guys has something I've learned from. But I think the one biggest thing that I've taken away is a reminder that every single person has their own gift. Everybody has a gift that, and I think of a gift as something you have that you're great at, that you're not without even trying. A talent. We all have it. And I see talents in every single one of you guys, and it almost makes me think like, what are mine? Like, what are my gifts? What are my talents? Because I see it in my clients, and maybe they don't know. And then I'm like, well, what are mine? So I think the thing for me to take away is realizing like how special all of us humans are on this planet. And the reason I know it sounds so corny, but the reason I say it is even if I come across somebody who gives me a negative experience for whatever reason, it's like, well, dude, remember like they're just as human as your clients and they're really no different. So maybe try to treat them with empathy and realize maybe they have a gift you can get away from it, even if there was some negativity there. So I would say that would be the biggest thing.